Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right, first up, we will be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes minutes from the council meeting of December 2nd, the community center meeting from December 8th, the Economic Development Authority meeting from December 8th, Library Board December 9th, Park and Recreation Commission from November 12th, Planning Commission from December 9th, Telecom Commission November 17th. There are also licenses and permits, an exempt gambling permit from Ducks Unlimited. They will have raffle and a bingo on April 11th of 2026. Exempt gambling permit from Windom Women of Today. They will have bingo on January 20th, 2026, and also the regular bills.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Benson, second by Quaid. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, department heads. Are there any department heads that would like to speak at this time? Nobody? Okay. Moving on. 2026 Street Project, First Avenue and 17th Street. And we will welcome Dan Van Scapen and Bryce Hunt from DGR Engineering for the presentation. Thank you for being here.
Good evening, thank you. Yeah, so my name is Dan Van Scapen with DGR Engineering. Thank you for inviting us here today to go through the preliminary assessment schedule, plat and schedule for the 2026 street improvements, which covers First Avenue as well as 17th Street. I've got a short summary of the project and how the process will work. Hoping that'll take care of some of the questions maybe some of the residents and or property owners will have about that process. And then after that, there'll be time for public comment and questions. So I'll go through this summary, just try to knock off maybe some of the main questions, and then we'll kind of go through that and move on from there. The project review is a street improvement project has been needed and identified by the city. And the assessment process that they complete about every 5 years. These project segments were discussed by the street committee and the council for the past couple of months and identified in the feasibility study that DGR completed in November. If you look at the project map, which you'd have to scroll ahead a ways, Steve, sorry. But it includes all of First Avenue from 6th Street, or Highway 62 all the way north to where it intersects Highway 60 at 2nd Avenue. And then it also includes 17th Street from 4th to 6th Avenue. The existing conditions, there's curb and gutter in some places, and it varies from poor to fair condition, depending on the segment. The poor and vertically misaligned sections will be replaced at various locations as needed. The bituminous surfacing consists of between 3 and 6 inches of bituminous. That was confirmed by borings that they bore down through the pavement to make sure what's there. And the surface is not uniform. There's significant spiderweb cracking throughout the surfacing. It does not create for a good surface, and it doesn't shed water well on the current project. Valley gutters don't currently exist and do not allow for good drainage, which means the water does not get conveyed to the storm sewer system, and it kind of sits there. Ponds freeze and thaw, and that eventually hurts and deteriorates the pavement further. So the project scope that we discussed as part of that feasibility study was to remove the existing pavement along the face of the cutter, including the curb and gutter. Replace identified utilities, which will include water main from 10th to halfway between 12th and 16th, basically, and the utility services for that. And then do subgrade compaction, so we'll compact the existing base. We'll put in 12 inches of new granular base for the new base of the pavement. Then we'll replace deteriorated or misaligned curb and gutter. That'll include all curb and gutter from 6th Avenue up to 12th Street on 1st Avenue. And then north of that, it'll just be replacing small segments where the curb and gutter is currently deteriorated. But where it's good, we'll leave it in place and we'll tie to it so that we're not misusing or extending dollars that don't need to be spent. Then we will also include new valley gutters. So in intersections that do not have storm sewer conveyance, we'll have valley gutters through those intersections to convey the storm water from one side of the intersection to the other so that it can make its way to those intakes and make sure that storm water goes into the intakes and gets away from the street surfacing and keeps the street surfacing longer better. And then we will install new bituminous surface. The assessments will only include 4 inches for all businesses and residential. However, the installed thickness for 1st Avenue is going to be a 6-inch thick, the remainder being paid for by the city, and that will provide for a 10-ton road for longer service for the amount of traffic and vehicles that utilize that road. And then 4-inch for the 17th Street portion. So for the residential portion, it'll stay at 4 inches thick. We'll replace the sidewalk only where it meets the curb to meet ADA rules. So where the street and the sidewalk match, we'll replace those sidewalks to meet ADA, and that'll be the extent of that replacement. The project will begin after bidding. Sorry if I'm cutting out, excuse me. The project will begin after bidding in the April to May timeframe, and then have a completion date in October 30th. That exact schedule will be determined by the contractor that will be bid out, and we'll share more of that information at that time. The first street north of 16th Street and 17th Street will be a mill and overlay, so that won't be a complete reconstruct. That'll only be the top surfacing will be replaced to better utilize project funding and not have an overall cost quite as high. These project improvements will, for the reconstructed area of 1st Avenue, will extend the life of the street for about 30 years. And for the overlaid streets, it is intended to be a 15-year improvement. However, with good chip seal and crack sealing, it can last significantly longer than that. In all cases, we intend to improve the drainage and the ride of the road to a smoother completion. There are some special areas of concern, safety and traffic control. Emergency vehicle access will be maintained throughout the project through the entire process. Access will be limited during certain portions of it for the utilities, but as I mentioned earlier, we have pretty minimal utility installations on this segment, but there will be a time from 10th Street to just north of 12th Street, so about a 3-block segment where we will be doing sanitary sewer, or excuse me, water main and storm sewer. And that, while those excavations are occurring, they'll be going down approximately 8 feet deep. Obviously, traffic won't be able to pass through those areas while the contractor's working on it. However, they will plan on backfilling the project as they're going. So we're not going to leave it open for weeks at a time. It'll be backfilled, and they'll actually use the milled up material from the project, from the existing material that's out there. They'll mill that up and they'll put that down so that you'll have access through the intersections, and they'll actually have access through other portions of the project. In bad weather, you may have more limited access just due to it's a construction zone, and there may be issues with, ponding in certain areas. Obviously, when it's a gravel surface like that, it's not going to shed water the way it will when it's paved. Resident business access, again, the contractor will mill the existing material and provide temporary access throughout construction. That will be limited during those utility construction portions. Garbage and recycling pickup will be varied throughout construction and depend on the progress. Again, when those utilities are going through, we're gonna have to find different methods. However, we will have the contractor coordinate those pieces of the puzzle with residents and commercial businesses to make sure that they have access to that, to dumping their garbage, and as well as getting to certain driveways. Driveway access will be limited after the removals, however, so there will be points where you might not be able to get all the way into your driveway until after that granular material is put back in. Postal service will be provided at temporary locations installed along the project, and that will be maintained and installed by the contractor. So your mailboxes and things along the project will be moved to a side road location. It won't be convenient as convenient right in front of your house, but it will be basically a box at the side road so that you'll be able to get your mail at that location. The way the assessments were calculated was the cost of the entire project was distributed by frontage and side roads, including costs for water and sewer services. The lot frontage was determined by the street address of the residential property as according to the Minnesota statutes, Chapter 429. The remaining cost of the improvements, including utilities, will be paid for by the city or the city municipal utility and financed with existing funds or through bonding. This results in approximately 30 to 40% of the project being assessed directly to property owners. A part of that is because there is limited utilities along this portion of the project, so that's a little higher than what it has been in past. It's generally aims between 25 and 35%. So with less utilities being done, the project is a little less expensive overall. With a total of $1,552,730 being assessed total, or approximately 40%. The total estimated project will be $4.11 million. As a summary, the street improvement process is needed and identified by the city in the street review process. Interest rates are historically favorable. They're higher obviously now than they were a few years back, but they are historically favorable to complete the work. The reduced cost and inconvenience by performing the full depth bituminous and new curb and gutter. The bituminous overlay is not feasible due to the condition of the current street. It wouldn't hold up well, and it would be needed, and then it would also be needed for utility upgrades. So obviously to do that water and sewer, we need to do the full reconstruction. A concrete reconstruction would be significantly more expensive and would have the roads inaccessible for even longer, and it would cost an additional 60% overall. The life expectancy will have a road that will last in the 30 to 35 year range with proper maintenance, crack sealing, chip seal, and coating throughout its life. We anticipate good bids as fuel costs are currently low. Anticipate that continuing and having a successful project. Communication will be key during the entire process and keeping everybody informed. We will have a project inspector on the project throughout the construction process. That inspector will also put together a weekly summary to say what the contractor has recently been working on, what the contractor plans on working on in the next week, and then what the contractor plans on working on in the adjacent week after that. And that information will be provided on Facebook as well as the city website. That was the condition of the summary. If we want to move on to the public hearing portion, Mayor Mathis.
This time we'll open the public hearing. If anyone has any questions or comments, you can approach the microphone there. Just make sure it's on, state your name and the address of the property that you have questions about. And you have a 3-minute timeline. Yes, you can come back again, but we'll start with 3 minutes. If you'd like to approach the podium, by all means. Just please make sure the microphone is on. Oh.
No. All right, my name is Chad Maryhugh. I am a resident here in Windom, and I'm also the president and CEO of Leading Edge Credit Union, impacted by the construction project on First Street. We currently serve about 2,000 residents of Windom and throughout Cottonwood County. This assessment and this project will do no good for the credit union. In fact, it's going to hurt us. Currently, for the sake of comparison, Leading Edge Credit Union has 5 locations in the communities: Jackson, Fulda, Worthington, Windom, and Marshall. The cost to operate my Windom location is 385% higher than it is in Jackson, 21% higher than it is in Worthington, and a building that is twice the size and 3 times the lot acreage. So this assessment, in my opinion, should be null. This project should not move forward. We don't support this project moving forward. We don't need it. We don't have a use for it. So that's, I wanted to voice the opinion of the credit union. I think there's other things the city can do to be more business friendly compared to assessing the businesses and making it more difficult to operate in a profitable manner. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Is there anyone else that would like to speak during the public hearing? Anybody else? Feel free to approach the podium. Anyone have questions? Okay, if not, we'll close the public hearing. Does any council have questions on this?
Got one. Down by the laundromat right there, that intersection that feeds the elevator, right by United Prairie Bank. How do, like in the fall of the year when they start running tractors in and out of there with heavy wagons, how are we gonna handle something like that?
So the wagons you're talking about, do they come down First Avenue or do they go out to the highway?
They go out to the highway.
So that project was completed actually on 16th in the 2020 project. So we actually will stop at the intersection on both sides of there. So we actually won't close down that intersection. That 16th Street intersection will be open at all times throughout the project and stay asphalt. It's not even going to be gravel at any point. That existing asphalt was completed almost 6 years ago now, but that will remain in place as is. They just won't be able to turn down First Avenue either direction without going to gravel at some point there.
Just the one comment I had heard from some businesses is, and you kind of addressed that already, but there'll be Facebook and on the city website updates on what's happening when. Some of these businesses, make appointments in advance. And so, they're just wondering, looking at making appointments and having people come in, that they have enough time to be able to reschedule or know what weeks or days that they should avoid appointments and those kind of things. So I think just as much a heads up notice we give to the businesses for their scheduling of, the businesses that do schedule appointments throughout the week would be appreciated.
Correct. So we will put that information on the website as part of that notice or that weekly thing that goes out along the left column. That'll stay the same the entire time. It will have the contractor information with cell phone of the person that's in charge on the site. It'll also have our contact information as far as who's on the site, whose cell phone to call. Myself will also be on there. And as well as it'll have the city contact to John on there as well. So hopefully any discussion of, because of the size of the project, the progress will be generically said that we're going to start in this area, work through the project through a certain area. That'll happen on a weekly basis, be updated on a weekly basis. So there will be a little of that there might be some questions on what we put on there, and we would encourage you to call us by phone, whether cell phone or our office phone, and get a hold of us that way so that we can work through any of those details. Whether it's garbage isn't getting picked up the way we wanted, or mailboxes are, you know what I mean, I'm having trouble getting my mail. We'll work that through with the contractor and make sure that we can keep things, disruption to a minimum. It will be a disruption, I promise that, but it'll be as minimized as we can possibly go through.
Yeah, I think getting a hold of the engineers and talking to the project is incredibly important. We spent, an hour and a half with Hy-Vee the other day talking about where they're gonna get deliveries, where their garbage is gonna go, where their employees are gonna park, what's access going to be. And so Dan and his staff have been very open to that. So I'd really encourage businesses to, don't be shy about giving these guys a call. And Bryce probably will be here on site, right? And so we've got your cell number and your Johnny on the spot, so, not that Johnny, but this one.
And I will add to that is, we just started the design process on this. Obviously, you have to get through this to where you have your financing in place and all those other things. So we are working on design now. Hy-Vee reached out to us, and I would have no problem. Please do the same. They reached out through Steve. You can start there. You can start with us, whatever works. Our information will be included in this packet and all that too. So whomever, wherever you start that conversation, we'd be happy to talk through what the effects of it are and how it'll affect you and your business or home.
Do any other council members have any questions or comments?
I guess I have a few questions, but when you get into the design and after the design is complete, I'm sure you'll be coming to the street committee and we can go through the details at that time.
Yeah, we'll work through that with you. I don't recall the street committee coming to some of those design, but usually it's staff, and then the staff would do that, but we will absolutely, I mean, if you want to be and are available during the day to come to that, we will absolutely invite you.
Well, I think there needs to be a presentation to the street committee before we approve the plans and specs.
Okay. Yep, we'll do that then.
Any other questions or comments? All right, well, with that, then if there are no other questions or comments, we are looking for a resolution to be introduced, ordering improvements and preparations of plans for the 2026 street project from First Avenue and 17th Street.
Make a resolution to accept the plans and project for this 2026 street project for First Avenue and 17th Street.
I'll second.
The resolution has been introduced by Benson, second by Quaid. If there is no further discussion from anyone, we'll have a roll call.
Nelson.
Yep.
Quaid.
Yes.
Benson.
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Esplin.
And there you have it. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming and presenting, and look forward to keeping up with the updates on the project.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting us, and we'll be in touch quite often, I'm sure.
Thank you. Right, next up, Economic Development Authority, resolution renewing participation, Cottonwood County Home Initiative Program. Welcome, EDA Director Sonia Welt.
So you have before you a resolution for the, excuse me, Cottonwood County Home Initiative Program. This is our tax rebate program for new homes that are built in the community. It is, oh, sorry, better? Got it. It's been in effect for 9 years up to this date. We're asking you to renew it from 2026 through 2028. A little bit of background. Currently, residential properties receiving tax abatement to the sum of $6,325,200 with an estimated valuation for Windom properties that have been approved for tax abatement but aren't yet receiving them. It's another $1.38 million. Over the last 9 years, we've abated approximately $291,119.63 that have utilized the program. Which Mary had calculated out to 42 houses that were were built over the last 9 years. Your guidelines that you were sent copies of, there's no changes to those guidelines other than just renewal of dates, updating them from 2026 to 2028. The capped value is still $320,000 and it's still a 5-year tax abatement. The county approved it this morning and the school approved it last week. So you're the last and final step.
So with that, then, we are looking for someone to introduce a resolution renewing the participation for the Cottonwood County Home Initiative Program.
I can introduce this resolution renewing the participation in the Cottonwood County Home Initiative Program.
I'll second that.
Introduced by Sherman, second by Esplin. Is there any other discussion on this? Yep.
For on the 5-year thing, has it ever been talked about maybe reducing that down to 2.5 or even 3 years type of thing to shorten the window a little bit on that, or?
Not that I'm aware of. I think it's,
Okay.
when it was initially introduced in 2016, it was 5 years at that time, and each time it's been renewed, has been renewed for 5 years.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll have a roll call.
Sherman,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Quaid,
Yes.
Esplin,
Yes.
Nelson.
Perfect, thank you, and if I don't see you, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Sonia. Next up is the Planning Commission recommendation for a conditional use permit for a cannabis retailer at 2320 Highway 60. Welcome, building official Matt Fast.
Good evening, Matt Fast, Building and Zoning. Here for a conditional use permit, Blush Buds LLC represented by Paul Peralt. And the property owner is James Rosenkratz. The applicant filed a zoning application requesting a conditional use permit to allow the operation of a cannabis retail store on property at 2320 Highway 60, which he intends to purchase from James H. Rosenkratz. A consent to the application for this use was signed by Mr. Rosenkratz. The Rosenkratz property is zoned as a B2 highway business. Pursuant to City Code Section 120.03, a cannabis retailer can be allowed as a conditional use in the B2 and B3 zoning districts. City Code Sections 120.02 through 120.07 set forth the city code requirements regarding a cannabis business. The proposed location is situated in an area that is over 500 feet from any school, daycare, residential treatment facility, and any attraction within a public park that is regularly used by minors, including, but not limited to, a playground, swimming pool, or athletic field. At the Planning Commission meeting on December 9th, the applicant outlined his plans for security measures at the store and also procedures for ID checks, etc., to prevent entrance into the store by minors and any sales to minors. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on this application on December 9th, 2025, and approved the motion to recommend City Council approval of the application for a conditional use permit submitted by Blush Buds LLC to allow operation of a cannabis retail store in the main building at 2320 Highway 60 on property described as parcel number 25-752-0040. The recommended conditions for approval of this conditional use permit are as follows. 1, the proposed cannabis retailer shall be licensed by the Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management and registered with the Cottonwood County Auditor's Office. 2, the location shall be inspected by the Cottonwood County Sheriff's Department for compliance with Minnesota statutes and Cottonwood County Ordinance Number 43. 3, the cannabis retailer shall comply with the provisions of Minnesota statutes, Chapter 342, Cottonwood County Ordinance Number 43, and Windom City Code Sections 120.03, 120.05, 120.06, 120.07, and other applicable sections of City Code. 4, the location shall have a separate outdoor entrance, and there should be no interior accesses between this building and the adjoining business location, which is the Fat Pheasant Pub. Number 5, cannabis retailer is the only cannabis or hemp use approved for this location. 6, the cannabis retailer use shall only be permitted in the main building located on parcel number 25-752-0040. 7, the cannabis retailer shall be limited to the retail sale of cannabis, cannabis flower, cannabis products, lower potency hemp edibles, and hemp-derived consumer products. 8, no beverages or products containing alcohol shall be sold or distributed on this property. 9, sales of approved products are limited to between the hours of 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. Sunday through Saturday. 10, there shall be no use of cannabis or hemp products on this property. And 11, the property owner shall contact the Windom Building and Zoning Office concerning required permits for any repairs or remodeling of the building and signage for the property. And with that, we're looking for approval of the conditional use permit application submitted by Blush Buds LLC to allow operation of a cannabis retail store in the former Windom Florence Sleep Shop located in the B2 Highway Business District.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion is made by Nelson, second by Benson. Is there any discussion?
I'll just note that I will be abstaining from this vote.
And
So-
I will be abstaining as well.
And from the way I take it, it all reads down that they won't open no smoke shop out there or nothing, like no zoning where they sit around and smoke it and stuff like that. then?
No, that's not allowed.
Okay.
Through state statute and then through the county ordinance and then through ours.
I would add that I read through the minutes from the meeting, and I think the commission did a great job with questions, and you did a great job with answers. They were thoughtful and detailed, and I think this gentleman has several stores, correct? And is well-versed in the statutes and codes, and really has some good plans as far as making sure everything is complied with. So it seemed like a good meeting, and everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, no, he's very well versed at what he's doing with this. He knows the statute very well and seems like a very confident and capable young man.
Is there any further discussion? All right, with that, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Next up, city budget. We are looking at a resolution for the 2026 levy that was set at $2,789,521.
Yep, at the last city council meeting, the budget was reviewed with the council and the truth and taxation public input was held. The council did not have any adjustments to that budget since at that meeting or since that time. So this levy was what was in the proposed budget for your approval.
I'll make a motion to accept the 26 budget, city budget resolution.
I'll second.
The resolution has been introduced by Benson, second by Nelson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call.
Yes.
Benson.
Yes.
Okay, Esplin.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Quaid.
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
All right, that resolution is introduced. Next up, we have approved the 2026 City of Windom budget.
Yep, so with this levy, that will support then that budget that was again referenced at the last council meeting and provided in the packets. This is just a motion to approve that budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 budget for the city of Windom.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made by Benson, second by Sherman, to approve the 2026 City of Windom budget. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we welcome Finance Director Donna Torkelson to discuss 2025 budget amendments.
Yeah, so after reviewing the 2025 expenses to date, we did recommend some budget adjustments, and those were in your packet. Most of those are grants, that we got, we weren't planning on, and some flood reimbursement money. Last year, if you look, we did make an adjustment for the flood expenses, so this year we're making an adjustment for the money that we received from FEMA and the state of Minnesota. There was a deed grant for the Semstone property, so I don't know if you want me to go through each one of those, or if you guys have questions on any of those.
Does anyone have any questions for Donna?
No? Do you want me to go through each one, or did you read through them and?
I read through
That's fine.
everything.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
have any questions. I don't know, maybe we have some questions?
Okay, so then I guess that this would be the recommendation, is to make those budget adjustments for the 2025 budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 budget adjustment amendment.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made by Benson, second by Esplin, to approve the 2025 budget amendments. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Donna. Thank you. Next up, under SMART Goals, is a 2025 dashboard report.
Okay, just so in your packet, this is informational. Last year, we had the 2025 SMART goals, which were the targets for the departments with the boards and commissions. And this dashboard report that's in there is just kind of a color-coded key to show you the progress on those goals. As you can see, many of them have completed, and a number of them are in other phases of development. Some of them, you see there's a few that are in that 25% less completed. Some of those were due to new staff during the year, so they just had to come in, get up to speed on some things, so they're just a little bit further behind than some of the other goals. So this is informational for you to see the progress on last year's goals is all. No action is needed on this. Happy to answer questions if anybody has any.
I just looked at some of those, and like 50% are fully completed, so that was good. I mean, just to reiterate, I went through what you just said, and about another 30% are 50% or more completed. And then the ones that aren't are basically due to new staff. So I think everyone's done a really good job, and applaud everyone for their completion of all of their SMART goals. Does anyone else have anything on the dashboard report? Okay, moving on then, we will, well, all of the 2026 SMART goals were in the packet. This isn't anything we will go over into depth right now.
And so, again, everybody just looks forward so much to doing SMART goals. A little bit kidding here. So all the goals that are in the packets, have gone through the departments, and most of the planning, the boards and commissions have been reviewed, these as well. And so these are all in for goals for this upcoming year. So this one, we would like any input that you have in these, or if they're acceptable, then just to accept them as we move forward into 26.
I guess I would just comment that I really appreciate it. Somebody that loves to see written out goals. I like to see the timelines. I like to see checklists of what we're doing and what we're working towards. So I really appreciate them. And then I also just kind of want to point out to Matt, who on the planning and zoning part came in new, but his SMART goals were very detailed, very specific. I really appreciate that. So even though you were new, I felt like you really knocked it out of the park with your SMART goals. So congratulations on that. And thank you to all the departments and the boards and commissions for reviewing that and really having precise goals for our future.
I also want to say thank you to all the department heads and department and employees that built these SMART goals, because it does give the citizens something to look at and something to judge, you know, because a lot of the times they see everybody driving around pickups doing whatever they're doing and they don't understand what you guys are doing. They just see movement and they don't understand that there is stuff going on and you do have goals and stuff you want to get done and you have to get done on a timeline basis, so you're not just out lollygagging around. But I do want to say thank you guys for doing this, and thank you for all the hard work everybody's put into these. Appreciate it, because it does give us something to look at and to scale things on. But yeah, thank you.
And next year, Mr. Airport Manager, I'll let you write your own.
Fly away.
Does anyone else have any comments, questions on the SMART goals? If not, we are looking for a motion to accept the SMART goals for 2026.
I'll make a motion to accept the 2026 SMART goals.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Sherman, second by Quaid, to accept the 2026 SMART goals. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, new business. Does anyone have any new business? Hearing none, we'll move on to old business. Does anyone have old business? No old business for anyone. Next up is council comments. I am going to start tonight and express my deepest sympathy to fellow council member Jim Nelson. He lost his wife Marge on December 6th, and I think I can speak for everyone here to say that we've sure been thinking about you. I have personally, and I just hope you're holding up, and if you need anything, let us know. Next, I want to thank the Chamber and all who played a part in the Downtown Christmas by Candlelight. You know, we had some city departments involved in that and several businesses. It was beautiful and festive, and the community really enjoys it, so I thank everyone for that. I also want to thank everyone that came out to Design Day with Leathers and Associates at BARC. Tons of people involved in that. I'm not even going to try to name them individually. Maybe someone else wants to take that on, but lots of bodies from the city and the boards and commissions and council and community and everybody, and it was great to have that done, so I thank everyone involved in that. And lastly, I want to bring up that there is going to be a group, it's called the Dakota Exiles Riders, and they're going to be coming into town via Highway 60 on Sunday the 21st, sometime between 3 and 5. This is a group that rides out of Nebraska, and there's a group that comes out of South Dakota and one with Nebraska, and then I think maybe one from the north, and they all meet at Reconciliation Park in Mankato on December 26th to be part of the healing ceremony to honor the Dakota 38+2. But they actually stay at on the outskirts of Windom resident here, so they are coming into town via 60, and they will come down 60, and on their horses, they will be on horseback, followed by a caravan of trailers and vehicles, and they will load horses at Island Park. So if anyone wants to get out and see that, the timing, they said themselves they run on Indian time, so they will just keep us posted. I will take to social media if anybody wants to watch that. And in advance, I thank the Windom PD, who was very helpful in arranging escort and/or traffic stops to get this group safely in and out of town. So thank you very much. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays upcoming to all. I'm sorry that took me forever. I would like to pass it off to whoever would like to be next. Mr. Benson.
I'll start up. And first of all, I want to say, you know, kudos to everybody and Jim, really, and anybody that lost anybody, because we've had some people lost in the community in the last few weeks and stuff. But I just wanted to say our sympathies with everybody. But on another note, as far as keeping people safe here in Windom, I know the snow is melting now, but when it wasn't melting, when it was coming down, and I'm talking to the people that should know better and do know better to blow the snow into the street. I mean, it's actually a crime. And the church up there had horses come out, and they had a horse come out, fall down, and it got hurt, and they loaded their stuff up and went home. So that kind of discouraged that right there. But if you see somebody blowing snow out in the street, we're only going to give you guys a few warnings, but it is a crime. You can get a penalty for it. And I'm old enough where I know better. But if you know people that are doing it and they don't know better, please help them out and tell them not to do it, because people are getting hurt, animals are getting hurt, and it's something you can get fined for. And I think we're at the point where we're going to have to start finding people, because it's just happening more and more and more. And it's not, the street department tries to take the stuff off in there when it freezes down, especially like the last time it froze down to ice. And there's nothing they can do with ice. Once it freezes down, even their big trucks just bounce over the top of it. And people are getting hurt at intersections and stuff like that. We don't want to do that. We want to keep everybody healthy and safe, especially during the holidays or even after the holidays. We don't want to see nobody getting hurt. But then that's enough whining for me. I just want to say, help each other out. And if you see somebody do it, go up and talk, ask them kindly not to do that. Or don't blow it into your neighbor's sidewalk after they get it scooped out. It's a fight back and forth. You just don't want to do that kind of stuff. We're better than that. But again, I want to say thank you for all the stuff we've done this year and gotten accomplished. And we got a lot of stuff ahead of us to get going. And I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benson. Ms. Quaid, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to remind people during Christmas break on December 26th and 27th that the Windom Community Center will again have the bouncy houses out from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. So watch for more information on that. That is a perfect time for your kids that have all that extra Christmas energy to go up and bounce, 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 so that parents can maybe get a rest. But everybody, a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Sorry, can you repeat the time? Was that 10 to 4?
10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the 26th and 27th.
Thank you. Mr. Asplund, do you have anything for council comments?
I just want to say, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Sherman, have you got anything?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Jim and I have already talked, and I'm all with you, my friend. I also want to mention the passing of Linda Ebeling. I have known her for quite a few years, and a very colorful young lady, and she has passed, and she had an unusual connection to me. If you want to hear a story or two, I would be delighted to share them with you. They're all positive. And I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for the condolences and so forth. I really appreciate it. And it doesn't get easier right away, and I don't think I'll ever forget, but after that many years, a lot of good times. Not that we didn't have occasional bad times, but we got over them. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. All you ladies and kiddies out there, I hope you get what you want. Guys, I hope you get enough underwear and socks to last till your birthday.
Good council comments tonight. And with that, we are at closed meeting items. So right now we will close the meeting to the public. And Oh, we need a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make a motion to go into closed meeting.
I'll second.
Motion has been made by Sherman, second by Nelson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.